content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Periodic Review. My name is Jacob, and this is my partner in crime, Mr. Alakai. How are you doing, sir?
Hey.
How's your boy?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Does my mic sound quiet to you?
No.
No, it doesn't? Okay.
At least I don't think it sounds... Oh, shit.
Maybe it's just because I didn't have it in my mouth, but that's okay. There's a lot of things that need to be in my mouth.
That's what she said.
All right, as you all know, we have changed our time. We are now streaming live 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Central Time, and so we hope you all will join us every Thursday night at those times. So what's new in your world, my friend?
Here's what's going on in your neck of the woods. Not a whole lot other than like, well, I guess since the last time we were on the podcast, I wasn't in school. I am now in school. So there's that's going on. Actually going to be looking at an article today in which I was, got this article from a class. So
right.
I'm taking
criminal justice stuff.
Yeah. So one of the classes I'm taking this semester is criminal justice. So this is just an article that I got from a report that I had to do in class. So yeah. Other than that, not much else is new. Just classes and work is still work. So just a whole lot busy. Whole lot busier, more than.
Well, it's better to be busy than not, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy being busy. It just makes the time feel like it's going by a lot faster. I don't feel bored all the time.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, granted, I got I just have a lot of work that I need to do, but it is what it is, I guess.
Such is life.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of sucks. I'm spending a lot of my weekends just doing homework, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. At least I'm not super bored on the weekends, at least.
Well, at least Rianne's sharing your pain.
Yeah.
She's back to school.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I seriously cannot hear crap in my headphones.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you need to adjust?
It's almost like, I don't know if it's like turned down on the headset or what, but I can hear you like loud and clear in my headset.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm talking into it, it doesn't sound like I can hear it. I don't think it's bad on everybody else's end, but
it's
for some reason,
it's just very inconvenient for you right now.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I should.
Do you wanna adjust it really quick?
Yeah, why don't you start sharing about the article and I'll adjust really quick.
Okay, cool. So while Jacob is doing that, I'm just gonna pull up this article on my good old trusty laptop here, and yeah. Okay, so are we able to post a link in like the description to where they can find the article?
You can actually post a link in chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. I'll do that later. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know what's been going on in like Utah as far as news goes, or just unaware of the story, so this is a double homicide that happened up in Moab, Utah, about a month ago. August 13th is the last time that these two women were seen alive. Their bodies were reported on August 18th.
Okay.
August 16th, August 18th.
Oh,
I have to find it.
There we go.
Wait, hold up. I have it. August 18th is when their bodies were reported. Okay. So the two people that we're looking at, their names are Kylen Schulte and Crystal Turner. Kylen was 24 at the time. Crystal was 38. These two were a newly married couple. They loved the outdoors. They loved camping. They actually had a van that they had converted into a livable van. I used to want to do that, actually. I had this dream.
I still want to do that.
Yeah, I guess I still do. Not much stopping me, I guess, other than finances. No, so Kylen and Crystal, they got a van. They renovated it to a van that they could live in, and they would often set up camp around Moab, Utah. They would go to campsites or just find random spots to go and camp around, I guess.
Yeah.
And on August 13th, these two were, I guess they were being harassed. The article didn't really give me a whole lot of details as to like how they were being harassed, but I guess they had texted their friends who they were meeting up with that night at the bar to get some drinks. They had texted their friends, and said, like, jokingly said, like, something about a creepy ass dude, like giving them problems at their campsite, and just jokingly said, if we get murdered tonight, it was probably this guy. And
wow.
And they sent that text as a joke. So gonna leave that there. Anyways,
it's a dark joke, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, like, moving forward. So these two go to the bar in town, in Moab, meet up with their friends, have the drinks, and that's August 13th. That's the last night that they're seen alive. Okay. So the following day, or that following Monday, Crystal Turner was supposed to show up at work, at McDonald's for work, and she never did. Now, time goes by, her coworkers are obviously getting concerned, and they're like, well, we should probably, like, do something, because, you know, like, yeah. So, yeah. And the police that day just start going on a search, and they're looking around campsites. A local search team is put together. So, like, locals get together and volunteer to go and, like, help.
And go and try to search for him.
Yeah, so volunteers even, like... Great to see communities step up and search for people in their communities that go missing. Love seeing that.
Yeah, that's always awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so a few days go by. Crystal and Kylen, nowhere to be seen, not heard of. On August 18th, there was a family friend that was searching around one of the campsites, and eventually found the van at this campsite.
Which was, like, I think it was 4 days later after they hadn't heard from him and didn't show up for work.
So the 13th was the last day that they were seen, right? August 18th is when this is happening.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, that's a good like 5 days, 4 or 5 days. So one of their family friends was on the search and actually found their van at this campsite, and they were kind of like walking around, and eventually they stumble upon Kylen Schulte's body. And the article does not state where or how Crystal Turner's body was found, but it is confirmed, like the police do confirm, that they were both found dead.
Okay.
So when they were found, they both had gunshots, so they were both gunned down, obviously. Now, the article also states that they were both partially undressed. So...
Okay, so probably sexual assault is in there.
Right.
More than likely.
So, here's a thing with that, is, like, whenever an article says partially undressed, like, it doesn't give you a whole lot of... Like I said, it doesn't give a whole lot of details.
Yeah, it's very general, very vague.
Yeah, like, it very well could be, and, like, obviously... probably was a sexual assault. It could also be that they were fooling around and they were shot in the middle of it. I don't know the details. I was not given enough information as to whether or not...
Like, they didn't give you, like, the full folder case file and all the pictures or anything?
No. This is just one article on the Washington Post that I read. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's much more research that we could probably do as we go along. We could probably find more information as to, like, what the hell happened.
That's crazy.
Maybe it does confirm a sexual assault. I don't know. This is just from one article that I found.
Well,
but when the media does, like, specify, like, partially undressed, when they word that, like everybody's first thought is to immediately go, this is a sexual assault. Which,
Right.
again,
Gone wrong.
Probably was. So there's no current suspect. As of now, this is a cold case. We don't have, the police don't have any idea on who this was. We really don't have any description on who this creepy guy was. I'm doing air quotes.
Right.
We have no idea. Like the only people that could give us a description of what this guy looked like or what he was like at all was Crystal and Kylen, and they're dead. So, like, she didn't exactly.
And what about this thing they were trying to? They had another couple, like a guy and a girl, like some YouTube guy, that was like camping like not too far from it.
Or I have no idea.
They think that maybe that was like, probably done by the same person. And they said that they did find like another campsite like not too far off with somebody who had been in and out of jail like several times but got out because of bail, and had been living like in some park. They believe that maybe it might have some kind of connection, but they haven't found it yet.
Maybe. So the thing is, like,
I figured out the microphone, by the way.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, it was turned the other direction instead of it. I was like speaking in the back of it.
Gotcha.
Instead of like into it. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to start talking about this and we'll see if we're talking about the same thing. So, the police in Colorado, San Miguel County, which is just a couple of hours away from Moab. So the police in San Miguel have actually been warning campers, just keep your eyes and ears open, because there was a campsite in which there was there was a weapons cache with like over 30 weapons in a campsite.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah, okay. So this is where I'm getting a little bit sketched out is so Moab's police are saying, like, this is labeled as a double homicide, yet the sheriff's department is telling the public there is no current threat in Moab.
Was that before or after they found their bodies?
That was after.
That was after?
Yeah, that was after they had named it a double homicide.
That's not good police work.
Well, okay, so there's that. I also understand, like, I can understand, appreciate, and respect keeping the integrity of the case. Like, if you're wanting to keep as much private as possible in order to keep, like, prevent details getting to the public, getting to the person that did this.
Right.
So, like, I can understand and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, it's been a month. This homicide is out there.
Right.
Whoever this guy is, honestly, he's probably long gone. And if you're telling, like, but what if he isn't? And you're telling the public, yeah, this is a double homicide, yet there is no current threat in our community.
And we have no suspects. That was the other thing that they said.
We have no suspects. This is a cold case. Also, you got the sheriff's department in San Miguel, Colorado, saying, keep your eyes and ears open because there is this weapons cache that's only a couple hours away from Moab. Now, there's no evidence at this time that we've seen, or that I've seen anyway, that I've read.
So it's almost like the people that commented on it or the journalists, they kind of want to make a connection with this.
Right. So that's
so they kind of feel like they're overreaching. Like they're like, oh yeah, maybe it's this guy that was 2 hours away living in some place he's not supposed to be.
Yeah, but then again, like, that's also the media's job, is to, like,
sensationalize.
In a way, yeah.
Clickbait.
But also, like, yeah, clickbait. But also, it's all about, like, who's first and who gets that story out first. So I mean, like, yeah. But at the same time, this, yeah.
Jeez.
But
okay, well, I have a theory.
Okay.
All right. Now, bear with me.
Bearing with you.
I'm not saying it's aliens.
Okay, get out of here.
But No, I'm sorry. I do make jokes, but yeah, it's very strange. And like they didn't text, like they texted their friends that, hey, if we get murdered, it was this creepy guy. They didn't give any description of him or anything.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Well, as far as I've seen and everything that I've read, there wasn't a description.
It was
which sucks.
Some creepy guy.
Yeah, which definitely sucks. I mean, it would have been nice if they like at least took a picture and sent it to their friends. My thing too is like you sent. Okay, so here's the thing. So they were last seen August 13th, right? And they were found on the 18th. So like,
Okay.
and you're telling your friends that like we may possibly get murdered tonight. Like yeah, like joking.
Ha ha ha!
It might be
creepy guy in our campsite.
Yeah, it might be a joking text, but at the same time, as a friend, if I receive that text from a friend, honestly, I'm probably gonna follow up the next morning, just because like.
Yeah, or at least be like, well, what does he look like? What is he wearing?
Can you take a picture and send it to our chat?
Well, and the other thing too is like the way technology is. I wonder if they could ping off of the phones that were in the area around that time. And because, I mean, our data and stuff like is being sent like all the time, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So I'd think that metadata, you know, of the coordinates of where people are at or where they stop, I would assume would get data stored somewhere, like over at the big boys of Verizon Wireless or T-Mobile or whatever.
Well, but also like state police and federal bureau. I mean, like they probably have access to all kinds of ish like that. But
I wonder if they do. I mean, we know that they've been storing, you know, metadata and stuff like that for years, and they stockpile that information. But I'm just curious of what other stuff they are storing outside of that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because I figure they could,
don't.
like if like around that time, like maybe an hour before, an hour after of where, you know, generally when they feel like they were killed, and they could actually like go through all the phones that were in the area around that time.
Yeah.
Maybe find the owner of those phones and then question those people.
Yeah, I will say, like, I know they did say, like, creepy guy, and yeah, maybe it is that guy that they were describing to their friends. It could have been someone completely different. Like those two interactions may be.
Yeah, we
it
just
might
don't
be
know.
the same person.
Don't know
It
the
might
context or the subcontext.
Yeah. Like those two interactions, it might be the same person. It might be two completely different people. We don't know. I will say, at least, I do think that this is something that was committed by a guy. Mostly just because a violent crime like this, statistically, typically, like, this is something that a man's going to do. Like,
well, especially if, you know, we're also under the assumption that it was a sexual assault in some shape or form. I would venture to say it'd probably be a guy.
Yeah, probably.
Probably statistically speaking, like if there is going to be violence on individuals, it seems like it's a lot more guy on girl violence,
and there's
in that kind of way.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's pointing to like a murder suicide or anything.
Right, they also didn't divulge a lot of information. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure there are some other articles in here that do have tons and tons of information on like the details. I myself have just haven't looked.
Well,
but,
and the police aren't. I mean, if they're still investigating it, they're not going to give a ton of details.
Yeah, this was something that only happened about a month ago. So.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's August 16th. This was a month ago.
Oh wow! To the day. Yeah.
It's September 16th right now.
Wow,
yeah.
That's eerie.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad though, because they hadn't been married for very long.
No, not at all.
They're like basically newlyweds, and
from what I understand,
camping out in Moab and then end up dead.
Yeah,
it sucks.
From what I understand, they were like newly, like the articles all say newlyweds. So I mean, I would assume, but
what's the definition of newlywed? Like that year, or like 3 to 5 years?
I'd assume that year. So
yeah.
Like
I don't know. I feel like newlyweds can be up until like 3 to 5 years. Is like you feel like you're still newlywed.
How long have you been married?
7, going on year number 8. I think we're in year 7.
Gotcha.
I believe. Let's see. We got married in 2014. Yeah. So we're coming up on finishing our 7th year.
Gotcha. Okay. Honestly, in my head, when you say newlyweds, I assume like either a couple months or just within that first year. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what I
just assume that some people would feel differently, and I'm just like, well, I mean, who knows? Everybody's definition is different, it seems, nowadays. So
yeah, it's just this whole thing is eerie because of like the whole, especially like telling your friends, if something happens to us, it was probably this guy.
Almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Which is
pretty eerie.
But at the same time, it's like, well, what if it wasn't this guy? I mean, like let's be real. Like all that, like it would be very convenient and like it looks good on paper if it was him and it would make sense.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, well, what if it wasn't? What if it was somebody completely different? Like,
yeah. And if it's somebody that's like a serial killer, or is it like, somebody it was like a crime of passion?
Yeah. So, okay. So
I wonder like who, like what kind of person that would have done that.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the other thing though. Since you mentioned that, like I said, this was an article that I did for my criminal justice class. So our professor was like going through some of the articles and just bringing up random ones. Mine was one that he brought up. This one, and he was talking about it with the class, and then he mentioned somebody else's article. There was a murder that happened in New York recently. I don't remember when exactly.
Mm-hmm. Was it like similar circumstances, like 2 people in the middle of the woods?
No, I don't know the full details, if I'm being totally honest.
Okay, I was wondering if they were trying to make correlations with other murders like around, like near that time.
He just mentioned another, like it was a cold case in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Another murder, and trying to what if it was the same guy traveled all the way to Utah? Ted Bundy did similar shit. Like he would go from Washington State to Utah, Arizona. Like he went all over. Like it very well could be one guy that's doing multiple murders across the state, and we just have no idea.
Yeah.
Granted,
that's possible.
Like all serial killers got some kind of profile. I don't know about this one, but.
What did you guys come up with while you're in class?
What did we come up with?
Yeah, as far as like who, like let's say you were making a profile on that guy, like.
Not much. We didn't really make much of a profile. I think the bottom line that we came down to is like this was done by a man. Like it had to have been.
Maybe he had some, probably some mother issues, or maybe he was molested by a female when he was younger.
Maybe.
Or maybe he was abused.
Maybe
by women. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be considered as far as like his motives and his mode of thinking and why he's passionate about killing women. Or I mean, it could have been just a kind of a happenstance thing,
Yeah,
and it could have been a crime of passion. Where the guy's like, hey, girls, what's up? Like, let's party. And they're just like, no. It's like, what? Okay, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're at this point, it's just up to complete speculation.
Yeah.
Because there's just not a lot of details. And obviously, we don't have the case file in front of us. So there's not really a lot to go on.
Yeah. So my thought is, like, if this is a guy in Moab that... like around this campsite, they say some creepy guy. I assume maybe it's just another camper.
4 feet tall, big eyes, bald head.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I assume like, what was I saying?
About stuffing things?
My brain is not working tonight. I've been dehydrated the majority of the day, and my brain's just not thinking right now.
No. Need to drink that aqua.
No, I'm drinking my tea
Agua
right now.
Fria. Oh, tea is so delicious.
Yeah, even though I know it like kind of dehydrates a little bit, so this isn't really helping much, but it's waking me up a little bit. Anyways, I'm getting so distracted, man.
No,
What
you're
was I
good.
going on about? But that's the thing is like with murders like this that are random, like if it's much easier to catch somebody if it's somebody that the person knows. If it's somebody that the victim knows, it's much easier to catch the person.
And oftentimes that's the case too. Like, I mean, it's pretty rare for just some random person just to start killing people for no apparent reason.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it's a random person that like has a profile that he wants to like go for,
Mm-hmm.
that's so hard.
Yeah.
Like the thing that sucks with murders like that is like you have to wait for more bodies to drop in order to catch them, and that
Because
really
you build
sucks.
a bigger profile, you build, like, possibly you might know these people or make a connection.
Yeah, and
in some way, shape, or form.
And it sucks because it's like try telling the families of the victims that.
Yeah.
It's like try telling their kids and their like significant others.
Yeah.
Like your husband or your wife was just a part of like a way to build a profile for this guy so we could catch him. That's some bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not fair, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't
Well,
say that, but like,
well, the thing is that they can only go off of the evidence that they can gather.
yeah, and this is
so
not.
if there's not a lot of evidence, like if they can't find DNA, if they can't find, like semen, if they can't find like hair, if they can't find like if they start interviewing like some of their friends and they're just like, hey, do you know of anybody that they considered a creepy guy, and is there somebody like prone to follow them or like kind of being a creeper or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
see, and the thing is, like, if this was a sexual assault, you would think that you could find some DNA on them. But I mean,
unless they were careful.
In which case, if they were careful, then he left them there and wanted them to be found.
Yeah. So we could also say that the person that probably did this was very smart, especially if they didn't leave any DNA.
Yeah.
So
might have been doing it for a while.
Able to overcome them. If they weren't able to, because especially I'm assuming these girls probably defended themselves, like
I sure hope
finding
so.
like skin cells like under the fingernails and stuff like that.
I sure hope so.
I'm just really curious, if they did find any DNA, if that was something they were like working on running or not, or if maybe this person caught them by surprise, didn't have to. I mean, they looked very small and very thin, so I mean, a big guy overpowering a smaller woman wouldn't be very hard, unfortunately.
So Grand County officials told KSL.com, another media source. This media source came out like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Grand County officials said they do not know yet whether someone sexually assaulted the two women. They await more test results from both the medical examiner and the crime lab. So as of this, then I mean, like, yeah, it sounds like that they don't know if someone sexually assaulted them.
Yeah.
Granted, like,
well, without going into any gruesome detail, because I know that YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But if they did find like spermicide inside of them, then they would know that there was a prophylactic being used.
Yeah. Hopefully get some DNA off of that.
Yeah. Or if he left the prophylactic, in which case DNA, yay.
Yeah, despite statements from the sheriff's office that there is no threat to the public, Moab residents expressed concern for their safety because of the double homicide. This is KSLNewsRadio.com, by the way.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's just nuts that something like that gruesome happened so close. Like Moab's literally 3 hours away from here?
It's only a couple hours, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not very
that
far
long.
at all.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's this kind of stuff, you never think that it's going to happen in your neighborhood, especially this is Cedar City, granted, like, yeah, there is crime here.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like this is not like city level kind of crime. Like it's not like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the biggest thing that we get excited about is like kids breaking into like a vape shop, and you're just like, holy crap, there's crime. Like that's like the biggest thing that we see here.
Yeah.
Or like people stealing like stuff off of people's porches. Like, I mean, unless it's like behind closed doors, there's not really a lot of like major crime here. Like it's small town, Utah.
Yeah, I think I see more crazy stuff at my workplace than I do like
right
on the news here. So I'm on the news in this town. So
yeah.
A reward's been put out for like offering information leads to an arrest.
That's good.
Which I mean, great for motivation, but I mean
that
like,
helps. But
if you're in it for the money, like come on, man. I know it's $20,000, but I mean like these are two women that.
I mean, if somebody does like just happen to stumble upon something,
I'm glad you're compensated.
I think it's worth the compensation.
Yep.
But
you're right.
I mean, and I'm sure there's people out there that are just like, you know what? I'm going to start investigating this and see if I can get that reward. And I think that's okay. Like, cause sometimes like, let's be honest, like, police officers are human too. Like they're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not perfect. So maybe somebody overheard somebody saying something. They go, oh, wow, that might be helpful in the case. And they can call up the police and be like, hey, yo, this is what I overheard somebody say. And I know this person. Here's their Facebook page. And they can actually look into it a little bit more. Maybe tap their phone. I'm talking like total like NCIS shit right now because I love that show.
I know. Court TV, another resource that came out a couple of days ago.
Oh, so
September 13th.
So fresh stuff. Anything new?
So 3 days ago. Okay. A search warrant was filed and carried out with the intent to search a vehicle registered to the couple, but that was not with them when they were found. The van had been left in a McDonald's parking lot, which is where Crystal Turner worked.
Whoa.
According to the warrant, officers discovered Schulte and Turner partially undressed with multiple gunshot wounds all over their bodies. Wow. I don't know how many, but let's see.
They're gonna be very general. They're not gonna give like hardly any details.
Yeah, I will say okay. So there was one article that I was reading, that was like, it was a media resource reaching out to the family, the families of these two, basically sending them an apology for we apologize for the gruesome details that were shared in this article.
Yeah,
which I did not read that article specifically. I couldn't find it. Maybe it had been taken down. Maybe I'm just dumb and I can't find it. But
well, the internet's a big place.
Yeah. So
I don't think you should be too hard on yourself.
I know. I'm just saying.
So hold on. Did you say that the van was found at McDonald's? Or one of the vehicles that wasn't at the campsite? Is that what you said?
The warrant was filed and carried out with the intent to search a vehicle registered to the couple.
Oh, okay.
So the vehicle was it says a vehicle.
So assuming not the van that was at the campsite.
Well, it just says, it specifies a van. So the van had been left in a McDonald's parking lot, which is where Turner worked. So it was the van that was registered to the couple, but it was not the van that was at the campsite.
It wasn't the van that was initially at the campsite.
Yeah. Okay. So my guess is like maybe.
So I was wondering maybe after they did the deed, they took the van and drove it and dropped it off at McDonald's. But
yeah. So hang on, let me see.
In which case, if that was the case, then I'd be like, oh, this is somebody that they knew.
Like, yeah.
If they grabbed the van and took it and dropped it off where they worked, in which case, that feels like somebody that's kind of taunting the detectives and be like, yeah, try to figure out who it is.
Also, like if that were the case, then do a thorough search on that van and get some prints.
Yeah. Hopefully get something.
Yeah. So, okay. So the 13th was a Friday. My guess is Friday night, Crystal gets off work. Kylen comes around, picks her up, and they leave that van at her job, at her workplace. Mm-hmm. and that van is just there for the next few days, and that's probably what sets off the coworkers of like her van is still here.
And she hasn't showed up for work.
Yeah, like look what the hell's happening. So I may be talking out of my ass here. Maybe that's exactly what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious now. What went on with that van? If it was there and it was brought back, or if it was never at the campsite to begin with and it was just left there.
The last time the couple was seen on the night of August 13th, leaving Woody's Tavern, the bar, at 10:30 p.m. So 10:30, they leave. They go back to their campsite, set up for camp, run into whoever was there.
Whatever creepy guy
was there. And
so obviously somebody followed him.
Yeah, I wonder if they had like, oh yeah.
I wonder if they have cameras at the bar.
Yeah, if there was a guy that like had like gone, I wonder if he was like at the bar that night and was like waiting for them to leave and followed him out.
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's usually what perpetrators do. They do a lot of scouting first.
An inventory of the van was also included in the release documents.
Oh, okay.
Among some of these items found was a black journal with newspaper clippings, miscellaneous mail and pay stubs, a Bible and miscellaneous notes with phone numbers and other handwritten information. So just a bunch of normal person stuff that you.
So nothing really to help then.
No, it just sounds like it's
unfortunate.
Yeah, it just sounds like it was just history the last couple of days. Journals, handwritten stuff, newspaper stuff, mail, pay stubs. Yeah, dang. Wish there was more info.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. I know the classic saying is, if they don't figure it out in the first 48 hours, it kind of turns into a cold case. And
I know that's like a thing for missing persons too.
Yeah.
Like if they go missing, like if you don't find them within 48 hours, well, like good luck. Granted, like
more than likely they're dead. Or
yeah, the thing is that sucks is like they were seen the 13th, which is a Friday. Crystal was supposed to go into work on Monday. That's well over 48 hours.
Yeah. And then one of their friends found them first.
One of the friends found them
4 days later.
4 days later. By then, like with that amount of time, that's plenty of time for the person that did this to dip.
Yeah.
Plenty of time for them to dip.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Trying to look for like more articles that have more details on this because I just don't have as much. Granted, I'm sure there's not any others to release, but
yeah. And the one I did find was pretty much just all the general like information. There wasn't like, come on, Starbuck, come and sit next to me.
And the thing is, this is also a case that there's just not
for permission.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information on this whole thing. Like
no,
that sucks, but I mean, like, yeah.
And I think the information that they did release was just basically to say, hey, these people are dead. If you know any information, like, please contact the police. And then I'm sure, like all the other news organizations and journos, they decided just to, basically reiterate that information. So there wasn't really a ton of information, which sucks. Maybe that somebody at the bar saw something or heard something. Hopefully. I mean,
I really hope that they catch this guy. I really do.
And hopefully catch him before he strikes again.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't blame the community for being like, dude, this is a double homicide, and you're telling us that we're like, there's no threat. Come on.
Yeah, like as soon as they knew that it happened, they should have been like, hey, people need to be aware, be careful out there. We're just announcing that, this couple, were murdered. So be careful out there.
Yeah. Like this, honestly, this shouldn't just be like a thing for like just Moab. Like this kind of stuff, this kind of thing could have happened like literally anywhere else.
Oh yeah.
Could have happened to anybody else.
Yeah.
It's stuff like this that is still like keeping me it's still what's making me to continue to lock my door.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people in Cedar City are like, it's Cedar, you don't need to lock your door. Dude,
even Northern Utah, they're just like, who locks their door?
Come on, man. You say that, and then like you're gonna be that 1% of like when it's gonna happen, because you have that routine. They're gonna find out that you don't lock their door, and you don't lock your door, and they're gonna take advantage of that. Yeah.
Honestly, Utah would be like a serial killer's playland, because they could just
don't say that. You can't say that.
I can't say that. Oh, okay. Just make sure to lock your doors, people. Turn your alarm systems on. Lock your doors.
That's honestly all I had for this.
Hide your wife. Hide your kids.
Yeah, that's honestly all I had for this. Like, I don't really have anything else on.
Yeah.
So, if you guys do, if like there is any information that like if you're listening and you have information on this, then obviously contact the sheriff's department. So there's a $20,000 reward for it. So I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
But
well, that's
also it would definitely help the families to get some closure and hopefully put this whole thing to bed. So
I think that's pretty much like what they're gonna get out of this is just basically know. If they could know who did it and why, that would give them a little bit of closure. But that's just sad, because those two ladies, they're somebody's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
They have nieces and nephews, I'm sure, brothers and sisters.
Yep.
To coin a phrase from The Walking Dead from Morgan, all life is precious.
You're also referencing a guy that went back to killing.
This is true.
Like right after.
This is true.
Just saying.
But literally all life is precious. Like, like human beings are just really fascinating, and even the people who feel like they're the most mundane or the most ununique, they're still very unique. Like there's no one that's like Alakai.
There's no one that has any. There's no one that is not of value.
Exactly. Even if their value is just to their small circle of loved ones. I mean, yeah, it's a tragedy when people are killed or they die, or they're in an accident.
Yeah.
And on that note,
yeah, that's all I got for this. So I mean, I don't have any more information to give. I wish I did, but I really don't.
Well, shoot.
We're at
right at 45 minutes.
So I think we should be good.
Okay. Well, hey guys, we appreciate you listening to our true crime podcast tonight. With your boy Alakai. So thank you so much for watching. I'm actually just getting ready to stop the podcast, so if you're just gonna give me a moment. Hope you enjoy it. Like we said before, we're going to be doing these live, and we're going to be streaming exclusively on YouTube at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central every Thursday. So we hope you join us next week. And hopefully we can be better human beings today than we were yesterday. And we'll see you all in the next one.